Hello and welcome to episode 59, The Secrets of Standing Out on Social Over Big Budget Competitors.
Welcome to the PR Playbook Podcast, the only podcast giving you actionable skills and advice you need to execute a strategic PR program. Warning: what you hear next may lead to brand awareness and increased sales and customer exposure. Now here's your host, Ranjini Joshua.
Hello there. Today we are interviewing Arjun Rai, the founder and CEO of HelloWoofy.com. I love their tagline, which is basically smart marketing for underdogs. So hopefully this applies to all of you guys that's been listening to this podcast. So today we'll chat about a little bit about what that means and what they do and how you can get ahead of your competitors. But before getting him started, I want to make sure that I don't forget to ask you to review the podcast, like, subscribe, all those things that make us keep us doing this, as well as helping other people find it, because I really want to make sure that people are finding the resources they need to do PR marketing themselves, and then use any of our resources and our guests to kind of expand their marketing and PR resources. So please support the community by doing all those things. And at the end, we'll have an email. You guys will know where you can contact for suggestions, comments, all those things. So thank you, Arjun. Thank you for coming on to the PR Playbook Podcast.
Awesome. Yeah, no, thanks so much. And it's such a great, it's always amazing to come on podcasts and be able to share the stories, because I feel like a lot of the listeners, your listeners especially, are the small businesses, are the underdogs, are the people who are looking to quote unquote make it. Yeah. And we're just building a platform that allows them to get from point A to point B a lot faster and with a lot more fun, to be honest.
Good. Yeah, and I think I saw a demo, and that's kind of, I saw part of a demo of Hello Woofy, and that's kind of what got me interested in interviewing you too. I just thought it was like so easy, and it's like kind of help decode some of the things that sound complicated when you're thinking about doing social media.
Yeah, no, it's for some small businesses, it is a barrier to entry, essentially, right? Some people don't have the time to do it. Some people don't know how to do it. And some people who do it, their whole motto is let's wing it. Yeah. And winging it is not a strategy.
No, it isn't. And I do it for some clients, and I am not a fan, and I know how hard it is. And it seems like, you could just get a bunch of Gen Z millennials to go do it. And, that's kind of the idea or the thought behind it. And I know business owners that are probably closer to my age who are like, I'm not going to try it. I'm not going to do it. I'm good. Yeah. I'm not going to get on Instagram. But I think any business in this, in modern day, you have to be competitive in as many places as you can be. So
totally. Especially with the pandemic. Well, I imagine your traffic is coming from online. If you're not, if you're doing anything online, then how are you surviving is the question. Because the big companies they have entire teams to do this for you. But
and I think that one of my questions down in a little bit further is about those big companies, because I think people don't realize how much money people spend on this stuff. But first things, before we get started, getting into those deeper questions, can you please just tell me just a little bit more about why you created Hello Woofy and then what it is, of course?
No, absolutely. Thanks so much for asking a question. So the issue that we're solving, our whole motto and the company is to build the biggest company in the world, helping the smallest. And what that means is for the very longest time in history, small businesses have struggled to use tools that honestly do get the job done, but that's like a Chevy getting you from point A to point B. But you really need a Tesla that's not only beautiful, but actually driven by data science. It self-drives itself. It has a ton of AI capabilities. It's just a lot of solutions out there. We have a lot of respect for them. They end up being very clunky. They don't tell you what's the text, the emojis, the hashtags, the images, the size of the image, what actually did really well or didn't do so well, right? And how can you learn from your mistakes or something you did incredibly well? Again, you're still winging it. And then the issue is that when it comes to enterprise solutions, you kind of expect those solutions that are going to cost you $50,000, $500,000 a year to have magic tricks. But again, just very clunky and clunkier. In fact, they don't give you the answers you need to the questions I just asked earlier. And it'll cost you, like I said, an arm and a leg, and you're going to need a team, which is fine if you have a big company, if you have a Fortune 50 company, but small businesses, they can't compete as a result with those unlimited marketing budgets. So long story short, we ended up going on this, Robin Hood quest to build a company with our customers. Anyone can invest as low as $100 and own a piece of our company through equity crowdfunding. Oh, okay. And so all of my sales pitches, they include, sign up for our product, $49 a year, $69 a year, $99 a year, plus invest $100 or more. Some of our customers have invested, thousands of dollars. And
what was the platform that you're raising funds on?
Right now, we're raising it on wefunder.com/HelloWoofy. And so the idea is, why not build a company with our community while we're building it for the community at the same time? So it's very much the Robin Hood approach. And so as soon as you start typing a post in HelloWoofy, it automatically completes it for you, gives you the hashtag recommendations, suggests images for you that are royalty free. Because again, small businesses who they're considered to be unsophisticated marketers. They don't know that going to Google Images is not a good idea to use an image from there.
I'm gonna say that I have been guilty back in the day. I was guilty of stealing images from Google, and then my client would be like, "Hey, someone just
this looks familiar."
Yeah, they would say someone just sent us a cease and desist on this image, and I'm like, "Oh, oops!"
So what we do is we go through the same stock images that are royalty free, and but we do it for you. As soon as you hit in our case a button, it literally finds millions of photos or images you could be using based on what you typed in so far. And happy to do a demo later. But the idea is to make sure that the small business owner that's switching between social media marketing and then accounting and then legal and then making a cup of coffee for the customer that just walked in, or the nail salon owner or the coach or the podcaster like yourself, they don't need to be spending so much time in grunt work. So anyway, so we built this technology for social. We then built it for blogging as well, because blogging and content marketing, super important since the pandemic, to be able to drive traffic back to your website through content marketing. Same tools, same technology, but now for long form content, you can do the exact same thing and schedule it to appear on your WordPress blog, schedule it to appear on your Shopify blog, schedule it to appear on your Medium blog. And then we were like, why don't we help small businesses take all of their amazing contents, the small ones, obviously, into the living rooms of their customers? Because guess what? Smart speakers like the Echo Dot here in my hand, or the Echo Show in my other hand, or the Fire TV, these devices flew off the shelf virtually and in real life, really, really quickly. The whole industry grew, double digit during the pandemic. Sure. So then we were like, why are only the Netflixes, the Hulus, and the CNBCs of the world distributing content? Because they have the channel to get there. But building an app for small businesses is very costly. And skill for the viewers or the listeners is essentially an app you can download to your Amazon Alexa device. And so we built a scheduler, the first of its kind, with Amazon's help. And literally, you and I can schedule video, audio, and text to audio content directly to each and every one of our customers and followers' living rooms, so long as they opt in and they download our skill. In your case, it would be your podcast skill. And within 2 seconds, you'll have, promos in there, trailers for the podcast, and people actually click on it and sign up on their TV or their touchscreen Echo Show.
So where does it, when your TV is on, where does it appear?
You just say, I want to play the Arjun skill. I want to play the David skill. And automatically, you'd have to be a little bit more specific, right. But it'll automatically ask you, do you want to download this? Or if it's already downloaded, it'll pull it up and the latest video that you schedule, or audio clip, or text to audio. It can also read the text for you. That'll pop up, and then you can go to the next screen or the next briefing.
Very cool.
But literally for $5 or more a month, for the price of a cup of coffee, we've opened up the living rooms for, small businesses to reach their customers. So that's kind of our motto is, remember, you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with, but you're also the average of the 5 tools you end up using. And that's what we believe.
No, that's really, really awesome. I would love to, how did you get into this?
Running several small businesses myself and being frustrated. And so I've been building startups since I was a teenager, and having built 4 before this, I was like, social media marketing really, really needs to get into 2021. We've progressed quite a bit from an infrastructure perspective, right? Allowing the TikToks of the world to, do really well, allowing the YouTubes of the world, every time a new social network came across or came into existence, the infrastructure had to be pushed, right? The bandwidth had to increase, the speed had to increase, the whole 9 yards. But what hasn't increased is the efficiency around creating content for each and every one of those networks. So obviously we're talking about, I mentioned TikTok, but Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Alexa devices now. We're about to automate literally every single platform. Those haven't really, that just hasn't happened until Hello Woofy existed.
That's really crazy. I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. I'm not going to lie. So I guess I want to know, but like before we dive into like really what your product does, because I mean, obviously we want to know that too, but I think it's important to understand what typical budgets look like in large companies. Like, I don't think people realize how much investment goes into the content creation portion. Like, could you give us an example of what like a small business would be spending versus a large business and why they're able to get ahead of us as far as being competitive in social?
Yeah, great point. So typically a small business owner can spend $250, $500 on software. That includes every kind of software. That's, accounting software, that's email software, that's marketing software. And if they want to get started at $49 a year, that's 10%, but that's 10% of what they would spend on a month for the whole year. So it's or in our case, it's even cheaper as 1% monthly. And then if you're a big company, you have to hire someone, probably on a full-time basis, or you might have a couple of people on a full-time basis. Let's just say $50,000 a year. Again, $50 a year plus, versus $50,000 a year. You kind of have a similar approach, similar capability as the individual, but it's augmenting your ability to get content out the door and actually be, ahead of your competition. So those are some loose numbers in terms of, just to compare in order to compare. But again, we don't want to be in the business of replacing people. We want to be in the business of augmenting people. Your intern can now do a lot more because of our capabilities that we built into the platform. If you have an entire agency, they can save the costs and actually, not even maybe they want to save the costs and give the savings to the customer or their clients, or maybe they want to reduce it by 10% while they save 50% and they make up they kind of become more profitable. The point is that the future is data-driven marketing. And if you're not doing it, for your coffee shop or a giant, Fortune 50 company, you're really losing out. But unless you're using Hello Woofy, you really have no other solutions.
So can you can you just give me an idea of like, how much time would this save actually? Like, or maybe this is a good time for a demo. Now, only people who are watching the YouTube version of this will see this. So we might want to talk through the demo as well.
Sure.
But yeah, like I think it's good to know how are we saving time, or is it less time savings and more we're optimizing what we're posting?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So when you come into Hello Woofy, first off, we believe that you're able to save at least 10 hours a week. And if you just do the business days, right, that's 2 hours a day.
Amazing.
That's quite a bit of, back and forth and creating content, optimizing it, scheduling it, the whole 9 years. But when you come into Hello Woofy, and for listeners who are listening in and not able to see the screen, it's a very creative white, background.
It's really,
there's a lot of white space. Super
easy to navigate.
We want to make sure there was a lot of white space because creatives and visual storytellers, they need to use tools that are designed for them. It's just long gone are the days that tools that used to look like this, clunky on the enterprise side or overly simplified on the low end side. That doesn't really help. In fact, everything is color driven. Purple means long-term strategies. Blue means short-term strategies. And you'll see that color coding across the platform. And by the way, if you're colorblind, we've even overlaid different patterns so you can see the difference between the two colors across the board. And
very cool. Very cool.
So let's just give you an example. A simple example I love using is how are you? How are you doing? It automatically completes the sentence for me. And then which of course we love you. And I really like my coffee. So I'm going to complete the sentence with that. Now, notice what's happening on the bottom. It's starting to give me emoji recommendations based on what I typed in so far. And it's going to continuously update that in real time. Now,
how important is the use of emojis when you're posting?
Huge. Let's take a look at what don't listen to me. Of course, don't listen to me. Listen to Adobe. Listen to Adobe, a multi-billion-dollar company, and their research. Their research on Adobe's website, this is their Adobe Trend Report, shows that emojis tend to drive significant uplift in engagement. And this is what we really care about, purchase intent. So what did we do? We literally mapped the entire English language to figure out exactly which emoji. Exactly. So for people who are not able to see this, it's basically a network of which words tend to be used with other hashtags that tend to be used with other emojis that tend to be used with other emojis. So it's like a very much
interstellar emoji map. I love it.
Yeah. So definitely check out the video version of this podcast because you're going to see magic happening before your hands, before your hands, before your face, before your eyes,
before your eyes.
There we go. Everything, all body parts. But the point is, inside the platform, that's one of the 4 algorithms that gives you these recommendations. In fact, we believe that you deserve to know what's popular, what's trending. So we actually built a ticker that gives you that understanding of what's being used right this second as you and I are speaking. And if you like, if you like any of these, you can obviously throw that in there. If you
does trending? I mean, I know all these questions. I feel like I know the answer to. I'm just going to ask anyway. But do trending emojis also make a difference or no?
Yes. So we can give you recommendations on a text basis. What you enter. This is what we recommend based on linguistics. But from a sentiment perspective, we've actually started looking at what is the sentiment of the world by the minute based on the use of emojis across the world. So we actually saw the yellow being overtaken by orange at least 3 times in the last 90 days. One was during the election, one was doing the Capitol attack, and the third time we saw the entire week was after the Biden administration took over because people were anxious. So we can give you the best emoji recommendations based on text, but it's important to be in the know of sentiment and what the world is feeling.
This is so interesting because I've heard a lot about like just sentiment marketing nowadays.
Yes.
And obviously, we work with this company that is based in Latin America who does they're called Millennials, and they are measuring like audience sentiment. They can measure the sentiment of people in different rooms and kind of play to those different strengths. And I find it so interesting that this is playing such a huge role in how we have to like converse with people online.
Absolutely.
It makes it so complicated, but this is, I mean, again, you're kind of decoding that process.
Oh yeah. The beauty in Tesla is that it gets you from point A to point B, self-driving, obviously, with AI capability. And you can just sit back and enjoy the view, right? That's our approach. Is we're not a marketing company. We're a data science company. Everything we do, we want to make sure that even your kid can understand, an influencer, a young influencer can understand how to get the most out of a platform like this while building their own business, right? And so speaking of images, earlier, this will automatically find images that are royalty-free or memes and GIFs from Jiffy based on what you enter so far. Click on the image, select the image, and based on the image, as you can see on the screen that we selected off a coffee cup with it's cappuccino probably, it'll automatically give you recommendations of coffee, flat white, cortada, but maybe you don't like coffee, it's too generic, double click on it, swap it out. But maybe you want something more for Valentine's Day since we're a couple of days away, coffee right? Now, what about content marketing? Take the article, put the article in, it'll automatically read the article for you. So you're not perceived as being boring for, just having the title of the article. It'll give you hashtag recommendations on top of that. And by the way, if you want to translate this into, let's say, Greek, I'll just pretend you speak Greek. It'll automatically do that for you as well.
Wait, so are you telling me, I feel like this is an infomercial. Are you telling me that when you put in the link, it'll go to the link and it'll read the article?
Yeah, it read this entire article about emojis in a split second.
Cool.
Yeah, so you don't have to be that guru, that's a boring guru that has a title and the link. This is an insight. I think an insight or something that's a takeaway is a lot more interesting than anything else. So anyway, so we started with social. We then built a product called Journal that allows you to schedule to blogs, literally any blog that we supported here, Medium, WordPress, and soon Shopify, and Tumblr and Blogger are coming soon as well. And then we built a Google Chrome extension. So let me ask you this: what is the total addressable market of a text box? What do you think a text box, like place where you type in text? What is the addressable market? Like, how big is the market of that?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Pretty big. I would say pretty big, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So guess what? Now with our Google Chrome extension, you can literally type pretty much in any major website text box, double click on it, swap it out for the right emoji, double click on it and swap it out. It'll literally work. We're on Medium right now. It'll work on Evernote, Facebook, LinkedIn, InMails,
Yeah, I'm Twitter. On Medium, so that's really cool. And yeah, if you guys have to see this on YouTube, it's very cool. I mean, this is happening instantly and giving like just the right recommendations. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Exactly. So we were like, we need to help small businesses anywhere they're typing because they need to be competitive on everything they do, everything they touch. And so in the spirit of that, we've then built with Amazon's help, the world's first smart speaker scheduler. So for people who aren't seeing the screen right now, I'm essentially about to show an example of a video being scheduled by our friend Kevin, who's at Amazon. and he scheduled a 2-minute video. I went over to my living room and said, hey, play the Kevin skill or play the Arjun podcast skill, right? And then automatically the video pops up on my screen. This is again on your screen, on your Echo Show, on your device, whatever device it is, the smart speaker. And then you could be like, hey, if you like this podcast, click on the link to the right, and below the description, you can actually join my masterclass or join up for my podcast before it comes out this Friday. So $5 a month, you can reach your customers so long as they opt in.
Wow,
right,
that's really cool. It feels complicated. Now, how complicated is it to get set up in something like this?
Not at all. That's the beauty of it. It takes years to build a Tesla style car and make it super, testing it and whatnot. Well, obviously, we spent quite a bit of research time and resources to get this done. But as far as, the small business owner is concerned, they have like literally 2 minutes, as fast as their internet speed. Right. 2 minutes, as long as it takes.
Well, and it's stuff they're already presumably doing. So it's just,
or should be.
Yeah, should be doing. So they're enhancing everything that they're doing.
Yep.
That's really, really cool. I think, okay, so can you just explain just a little bit more? And I asked you this question earlier, just a little bit more on the technical background of keywords and hashtags and like why they're so important to include in everything you're doing.
Yeah, so I would say almost every social media post should have at least 2 hashtags, except for posts within a Facebook group, because those are not, the Facebook groups tend to be, private groups. And so if you're searching for hashtag social media manager, unless you're a part of that group, it won't come up in Facebook search. So, or Google search. And so it's super important to make sure that your hashtags are super on point, not too generic. Like when I had the example of coffee, I double clicked on it because I wanted Insta Coffee or coffee lovers instead. Right. Because the competition for a generic term is too much. And unless you're an influencer, you're not going to get bumped to the top in terms of, recommendations when people are searching for hashtag coffee. You might have hashtag coffee, but coffee lovers or, coffee Valentine or something to that effect is a little bit more honed in. So it's literally the way people search. It is the search engine on most on most social media platforms. So if you go to Google and search for I love coffee companies or whatnot, you can have that little text box and search for text there, and those are keywords. Hashtags work just like keywords on social media, and which is why we really want to double down on not only hashtags, but we're actually starting to see that you can search based on emojis.
Yeah.
Huge, transformation in 2021, not only smart speaker marketing, but emoji marketing, which is why we're spending a lot of resources there.
That's really strange, but interesting at the same time. Yep. You know what I mean? So this podcast is all about delivering actionable items that people can do in the next, few days, hours, weeks, whatever, to optimize what they're already doing on social. Can you give us maybe 3 quick things that brands, small businesses, entrepreneurs, marketing teams, whatever, can do to make sure, and you already said the 2 hashtag thing, but optimizing their social media reach and their content reach? What are 3 maybe quick things they could do this week?
Great question. And by the way, you don't have to use Hello Woofy, right? For any of the things we talked about, you could do it manually. I just hope you don't do it manually. But my point is you should be doing exactly what I said. So that'll be point number 1 is optimizing your hashtags, saving your hashtags. You can save hashtags into playlists on Hello Woofy, and also find the perfect emojis that really resonate with your brand. And soon you're actually going to be able to save hashtag or emojis as playlists as well. So that'll be the first thing. The second thing is everything today will be sold on communities, and in the future through communities as well. People buy from people. That's just the core of it. And so I highly recommend automating your Facebook groups, starting a Facebook group. If you're a restaurant, start getting all the restaurants in your city to join a Facebook group where they can promote each other, share with each other. You can support restaurants. I mean, we have a Facebook group called Content Masters, and the whole thing is about content and creating content and supporting small businesses. We've had a lot of small businesses in our Facebook group meet each other, support each other, answer questions for each other. We've actually even been able to raise nearly just under $700,000 in equity crowdfunding from, thanks to the Facebook group. Yeah, because we keep promoting it in our Facebook group. And of course, other people find us through the internet as well. But a lot of our customers keep investing in our campaigns so that they own a piece of the company for $100 at a time. And so that'll be my second recommendation, is starting to build a community. The third thing I'll say is schedule your content, of course. So it comes out on you're proactive about your social media, But more important than that, keep it stored in a library, whether it's an Excel sheet. I hope you don't use an Excel sheet. We have a library in our platform too. But the idea is to have a location, like a save spot where you can come back over and over again and think about the content that you have already saved there, so you can continuously optimize it. The worst thing is you coming up with content last minute, haphazardly, and sending it out to your social channels. That is not good. You want to, just like art, you want to do it and then come back to it after a while. So obviously, and then there are other benefits of seeing how similar the content is to something else you posted and making sure you're not getting in trouble with the terms and conditions for each platform.
Well, and social media is a full-time job. Would you agree? Yeah.
It's just managing it and keeping up with it is, but the if you can get a little bit of it automated in the content creation side, then you can enjoy responding to people, reacting to people. And
right. And there's so many different activities you could be doing. Like, I feel like strategy, content creation, and then posting and engaging, those are all things like, really that could go to one person. That's a job for somebody. It's definitely a job. And I think people are still like kind of in denial. And I kind of deny myself sometimes. I'm like, oh, no, I'm going to do that. And then like a week passes and nothing happens, so it's just like, it's definitely something like if you can't get an intern on, and now you can with Hello Woofy, you can probably get an intern on it or
a VA.
Or someone like with junior experience to just kind of come up with stuff. I think that's good to know. I have a couple questions from what you said.
Yeah, totally.
One was about Facebook groups. And I'm kind of surprised that you mentioned Facebook groups, because I'm wondering, a lot of people talk about, and now there's Clubhouse too. So like a lot of people are talking about Facebook as if it's like, I don't know, like MySpace, like it's old. Like, do you still find that creating Facebook, I mean, obviously you raise money off of Facebook, but do you still find that it's highly relevant for posting for businesses?
Absolutely.
And maybe not even small businesses, just any size business.
No, absolutely. Community building is super important. And you can do this in newsletters, but it's not as engaging or as real time, because you really have to get people to, it's really a one-sided conversation. You send an email and you might get a reply, but other people don't get to jump in on that. Unless you mistakenly CC everyone and not be CC everyone, or that, most newsletters don't even allow you to do that. But the idea is in real time, look, it's social validation. The more people that join our Facebook group and they see, by the way, the goods and the bad, right? People who are complaining about something, it's right there. And we try very hard to respond in video format. I respond in video format to each and every one of the customers and say, we're so sorry. We'll get on top of this. We'll make this work no matter what. Or people are super liking our platform. They're like, oh my God, this was an amazing demo with Arjun. I would love to invest. I would love to buy the product. I have a quick question. I'll respond to that as well. And so once you start seeing that, people realize that we actually take customer service and being proactively listening to our customers very seriously. And so I don't know any business that you wouldn't want to be proactive on customer service and listening to their customers in terms of what they should be doing next. If you are in the business of listening to your customers and making sure that they're happy, Facebook group allows you to do that 24/7, day in and day out. I mean, we get the benefit of it immediately. And it's the most scalable because everyone's on Facebook.
Sure. That makes sense. Okay. And the other question I had was, you mentioned saving your hashtags. Yeah. And I think I've had this conversation before with somebody else, but should you use the same hashtags for every post because that associates you with the same stuff? Or should you be very good at like making sure they're relevant hashtags? Because, maybe they don't apply to everything.
Both relevant hashtags to what you're typing or what you're posting generally. So I have a hashtag playlist here in Hello Woofy, and I call it the entrepreneur hashtag. So I've got venture capital, startups, leadership, angel investors, incubators, media, inspirational quotes, and I love entrepreneurs as hashtags. I might use all of them, and so I'll have all of them automatically, uploaded to all of the posts that I upload. Or I can go in and delete a couple of them, or I can add each and every one of them manually, whichever ones I need. So the point is, have them there in the first place, and so you can actually think about that. Most people don't even have those saved. Most people also don't even haven't even thought about what hashtags to use on an ongoing basis. So again, we're talking about unsophisticated marketers who don't have a degree in marketing, they don't have a certificate. This is how professionals will do it, but this is obviously a little bit simplified. Yet there's AI capabilities to recommend it on the back end.
No, that's so awesome. Okay, cool. I like that. And I really do. I think a lot of people don't realize that, you can use hashtags that everybody's using, but that does make you a little bit like lost, like a small fish in a big pond, right?
Yeah. So here's an example. So I have my hashtag playlists all saved here. It's just these are the ones I was reading off. So it says hashtag playlist, and below are my playlist, the foodie, the marketing, LA marketing, dog resources as playlists. But when it really comes into effect is when I'm creating the content. So for example, if I want to choose those hashtags, I can choose them right here. And maybe I want to use all of these except, and maybe and the last two, I'm good to go. I can go ahead and bump it down, and I can continue typing in exactly what I was typing in before. It'll automatically complete the sentence for me. Sure. So my point is it'll save me a lot of hassle. That's for sure. And then I can keep going from there.
Sure. And you have like you said, you categorize them in different playlists. And so you usually, whatever content you're posting, you just put it into that category, right?
Exactly. And this, and the other benefit is when you're uploading content in bulk, and again, a lot of our customers tend to do this with images, you can actually choose not only to have the images transcribed, so a lot of quotes, like the ones you're seeing in the background, every single image was transcribed. The motivational quotes were typed up for me by the platform. On top of that, the emojis were added in automatically as well. And then once I chose my category, I was like, okay, I want all my entrepreneur hashtags added in after the transcription's done. It automatically did that for me. So those same hashtags you saw earlier, again, this is about being proactive with your content, creation. All of these posts have the exact same hashtags because they're all about motivation and business.
Got it.
And they're also transcribed based on the images.
Okay. So I want to repeat what you said. So first thing was have at least 2 hashtags in your post.
Yeah. Except for Facebook groups, because those are private. You don't really need those there.
Okay. And then create a community. So potentially Facebook groups. And then the last thing, I think I forgot what it was.
Store content in a library or Excel sheet. I hope it's not Excel sheet, but somewhere you can go back over and over again and take a look at and rethink about your posts.
What are your favorite tools to use with Hello Woofy?
So we have integrated Canva, we've integrated Crello and Design Bold and PicMonkey. So those are just on the content creation side. We are about to deploy Wave, which will allow you to make audiograms for podcasts. And so that's something that's coming out soon as well. So those are some of my favorite integrations. I would say from a platform specific use, I like the Google Chrome, the extension we built, because that honestly saves me a ton of time when I'm doing LinkedIn in-mails or I'm typing a blog post or whatnot. That just saves a lot of time.
Wow, you can use it for in-mails too.
Yeah, it literally. That's what I was jokingly asking the what is the addressable market of an input field, because our goal is to allow you to autocomplete plus get the emoji recommendations anywhere you type.
That's so great. That's really cool. Okay, so there is. I think there's another question that the magic question, the really most important question is why hellowoofy.com?
Just like a dog, just like your best friend, he's always there teaching you when, how, and what to post. Plus, we love animals. We love dogs. You'll see paw prints all over the platform.
All over.
And those paw prints are when you click on the paw prints in hellowoofy.com, you'll actually get help and video tutorials. So it's just our way of, humanizing and, adding a layer of, cuteness, but also and fun endearment to the platform, because it's supposed to be fun. It shouldn't look like the other tools I showed you earlier. It should be fun, inviting, and small businesses are all about that, I think.
Yeah. I think I saw a picture of you with a dog that's similar to the Hello Woofy dog.
Yeah, that's my dad's dog, Snoopy.
Okay.
The Maltese.
Yes.
I grew up in Maltese, that's why.
Okay. Very funny. That's cool. Well, Arjun, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, this is great.
Virtual hugs for you. Thank you.
Thank you. And how can people find you? Your information will be in the show notes, but just, verbally, how can people find you?
Yeah. Verbally, I'll tell you to go to hellowoofy.com. You can, sign up for the demo. I'm happy to jump on a demo and show you the product. Please join the product and break the product and tell me how to fix it, because we're all about feedback. Just jokes aside, we really want to build the biggest company in the world to support the smallest companies in the world as well. So that's our goal. You can invest in the company $100 at a time on wefunder.com/hellowoofy. And my email's on our website as well. But just get in touch. Tell me what your business is about, what your small business is about, and what should we build next to support your small business.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This is great. And thank you guys for listening. And we'll see you next time.
Awesome. Happy New Year, guys.
Thanks.